Soviets and Soviets, the Red Army, how y'all doing? This is Con Ulrich.
And I ring Roo, low, low, low.
And folks, for the third match this week, we wanted to go over to Babor and to bring back an old friend and a new kind of very recent favorite of ours, I guess, to cast.
Yeah, it's just happened to cast two of the same guy in the same rig. No real indicated preference.
Uh-huh.
Uh
Uh-huh.
huh. Uh huh.
Okay. So, what's our old friend playing and what's our new friend playing?
Well, our old friend Ort is playing as 20th Panzer with a Maverick income, and good old Gonzo is playing as Group Tyrannia with a Vanguard income.
Is it wrong that I was really hoping you were going to flip that around? The old L6 man himself.
I
Um,
know.
But Tyrannia versus 20th. We've seen 20th earlier this week. I don't want to ruin how that went, but how's Tyrannia match up to that?
Tyrannia is definitely a little bit more light vehicle focused compared to Bez Lugo's heavy vehicle focus. I forgot how their infantry matches up in terms of Gonzo's infantry, but I think, knowing Gonzo, he'll do fine. I mean, just look at him go. He's got the jeeps already going, but oh god, that's Ort really wants to get some visuals on what's going on down below, and really good visuals, yeah, because it was recon planes, Khan. They got napalm bombs.
Yes, they certainly do. The little mail bombs that they have in the first place are quite irritating. I won't say
Mm-hmm.
devastating. It's awfully unfair to say and
Yeah.
totally inaccurate. Um, I'm actually intrigued. Those sexy little stewards, I used to really, really hate them, but they've grown on me.
How so?
I don't know. It's like a fungus. Eventually, when your hope dies, and it grows on you.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think Ort is gonna be using these napalm bombs maybe to try and block the roads. No, no. Yeah, that's a really good idea. Those napalm bombs, use them to like block roads like you're doing
Oh,
this.
the
Oh
recon
my
plane got a
shit.
kill.
Holy shit, never mind. That's what you do. And
And now that he's
Gonzo.
angry, the Yak 9 is going to reap a bloody harvest.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, that was actually too funny.
Indeed, indeed. But Ort has managed to get across the river along, the Penis Island section, so to speak, with some Earthhands trooping and Flammenwerfers, while Gonzo is booking it along the northern side here through two choke points across the bridge, the northern choke point area. Not going too great. He's a little bit pinned down by good old Earthhands troop and spam.
So just watching the last brave bombing run by the biplane before it gets taken out, pinned down.
Yeah. And you gotta realize that biplane, it's only 20 points. You can, even if it only half kills that support gun, that's not bad. It's not bad.
True. That is certainly true. Now, we are seeing Stahlstruppen are being picked off. I don't think it's from tanks. I just feel like it's just from automatic weapons fire. And we're even seeing, wow, it's just a weird, confused melee that this northern town with this one P4 turret got stuck from, I think, getting shot in the ass.
Mm-hmm.
And now he blows up from being shot in the side. And even though we have another kind of conf group coming on in, I really don't know who's really running this show right now.
Yeah, this is a very confusing breakout from both players. We're only almost 3 minutes in. Both sides are pushing pretty hard. They got units going all over the place and artillery firing, tanks shooting, planes, flying about. But yeah, it's bizarre. It's absolutely bizarre.
One thing is for sure is that all the panzers are getting taken out one by one by one by one. And while it's certainly true that they are getting their own, let's say, minor form of victory by taking some Soviet tanks with them, 20th Panzer can't lose tons and tons of vehicles, blithely. It's just not done.
Yeah, with Group Tyrannia, it's more of a T-34-76 spam division, and they get a lot of them. But that's not a bad thing, because in a map like this, with all the close quarters engagements, T-34-76s rule supreme.
They certainly do. Also worth noting that right now we have this giant group of Staatstroepen and, Osttroepen. So if you're a Troopin, you're a Hoopin over here. But one Tanko Thessaloniki squad and a half-track there to stall them.
Hmm. Oh, those stars do have Molotovs, so they are kind of scary.
But the Tankos do as well.
Oh yeah, both sides bringing in the heat.
And I'm not gonna say the gap has been completely plugged but for the moment, it does look like the Tanko Thessaloniki have been enough to do some light triage here. Let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, both sides just like moving all over the bloody place. You know, pinning flanks, pushing areas. It's a very fluid game on so far, and especially on a map that I would not consider to be a very fluid map due to its choke point nature.
Now there is one Tanko Thessaloniki squad who's just holding the line. Is that the Russian "you shall not pass" kind of moment here? Unfortunately for him, the Balrog, i.e., this Panzer III, going to cause a bit of an issue, I would imagine.
Yeah, Panzers kind of do that.
They certainly do. We only have a couple of Stewarts coming on in. Stewarts coming in, they're not quite the honeys that were really so prized over on the Western Front. What's this down south? Oh, no, the Staatstroepen, and actually we're seeing some Russian material being brought in as well.
Yeah. But no, you're entirely correct. The Stuarts now in SD2 are not as great as they were in the hetero hell of SD44. It's just due to the more open maps, and I believe, yeah, they only have like 7 rounds a minute on that little Stuart gun, where a Russian 45mm gun is like 12 rounds a minute.
Well, they're just pop guns by comparison.
Yeah, and not even fast pop guns, yeah, which is really the advantage you want with a small caliber AT weapon.
Indeed. Indeed.
Hmm?
Now, I'm continuing to watch this Abramov over here coming with his PPSHs and watch him take out this air Trooper. Just in the flank, he guns down 4 guys as they come across the road. If not for right now, that P3, that would have been done like 20 seconds ago.
Yeah. Yeah, he's on the line. Yeah, I'm just trying to follow what's going on. I mean, right now down south we've got a push coming in from Gonzo, and he's going across the bridge here with his T4s and M5s. It's just things are happening. Things are happening.
That's certainly the alphabet soup we've been worried about. To the north, the Stewarts come in and getting picked on quite a bit. I don't know if that's a consequence of the P4s, but we do have Hero Hearth over here, good old Helmuth, as well as 2 P4s to kind of screen for him and keep him alive, hopefully a little bit longer.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess the most important thing is that right now, Gonzo did seal the gap in his lines. And
Yeah.
kind of with authority, too. Taking his own territory. This half-track's going to get taken out. But, a little plucky guy that he is, he at least is going to give some good scouting before he gets completely destroyed.
Yep, and he does get destroyed, that is for sure. Panzer III getting blown up in the middle. And more T-34s has been powered on into the town across the river. It is very good at Gonzo, has managed to make an early push across the northern side of the river. Capture the area instead of waiting until later game, where moving over those bridges tend to be a rather deadly affair.
But he can't do that. This is where von Alstadt comes into his own.
Mm-hmm.
You have to play super aggressive early on, which we know Gonzo loves to do. And it looks like he's going to put those P4s in the center part of the map, either to flight or, into the dirt.
And it seems like they're going to go into the dirt.
It certainly does seem that way. I do admire how we have multiple different sources of fire going after these tanks, but they're not on top of each other.
Mm-hmm.
I've certainly seen that a lot. Yes, sir.
E-34s all spread out. That's like, he doesn't have them just like one easy to bomb big blob. He has them all over the town, all different angles. That's how you do like medium tank spam like this.
Exactly. And I'm pleased as punch to see it. I would hope that the punch wouldn't be levied at something wearing an iron cross, but
Oh, that P3 just came in and shracked the Panzer III. Actually, a pretty good rocket run, yeah, but Gonzo's doing a fantastic job.
I honestly was checking on down south. There was a duel going on between a P4 and an M42, and the M42 was found wanting, to put it mildly.
Oh, boy to Stalin.
But more 76ers are being brought on in. The question is, if this is von Alstadt, what do you do? Ooh, yeah, that's exactly what you do.
Yeah, it's a tough thing. T-34 76 spam on maps like this are a real pain to deal with, because when you kill one, there's another 3, and when you kill those 3, there's another 9. There's just so many of them. Really, you just need good use of Panzer Shreks. Yeah, it really comes down to more like infantry, anti-tank, and artillery. Because if you just move in tanks to fight the T-34s, especially with 20th Panzer, you're not gonna win that attrition warfare game. You need to try and even the odds out with a lot of other firepower that's not tanks. We're still bringing in tanks, because tanks are great.
Of course. Now, interestingly, we might see his steward get his day in court here.
Oh, yeah?
Sitting in the forest to the south, we actually are watching as T-34 76ers are just throwing rounds down south at 2 P4s, one of which has already got its legs broken.
I really want to see that Stuart flank it. Come on.
I don't think he's going to do it, though, unfortunately.
I don't think he'll need to.
Unless people stop shooting at it and start going after this boy to Stalin, which I can kind of understand.
Yeah.
Ooh. Nope, this was 70. Yeah, that's not going to happen. Never mind.
Yeah, boy to Stalin. With Group Tourney, you really do not have much in terms of heavy AT. To be fair, though, he only has to worry about one heavy tank and had Stalin on the field right now. So, if he can deal with that Stalin, it should be a pretty downhill grind, so to speak, for Gonzo. Because that's really his major obstacle at the moment.
That's really his major obstacle, period. I mean, you take that boy to Stalin out, and yes, P3s and P4s can do a lot of damage, but their skin is nowhere near as thick.
Yeah, and we've got T-34s, some AWP being brought in, trying to out T-34. Gonzo's T-34s must make for a rather confusing target environment.
Well, Sturmoviki squad's coming in as well with rocks, so, you know, I like seeing these non-Ognamachiki squads. And I understand early on that's what you need to kind of grip that early part of a town, a territory behind it. But it does my heart good to see something more durable being brought in.
Those Sturmovikis, I believe they're Trin flamethrowers.
Yes.
Alright, you really don't want to run into them on a bad day, or a good day either. Just leave them alone from anywhere past 100 meters.
I'm also kind of saddened to watch as this Stewart struggles to take out an Airstadt squad as he is now technically behind enemy lines. This would be the same Stewart tank that would absolutely beast anything else.
I know. In SC-44, it's just us as Trooper would have been dead like 2 minutes ago. Before it even engaged the Stewart.
I do think part of it is because this is the M5 Stewart, and there wasn't the M3 the one that had multiple. Like I think it was 3 machine guns, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's just the Russians just didn't use anti-aircraft guns. It seems. I mean, even with the M10 tank destroyer in this game for the Russians.
Boy, the Stalin airstrike coming in from the flank.
That's how you do it.
Not a kill, but certainly terrifying nonetheless.
That did quite a bit of damage, most likely. So another run or 2 runs like that should be enough to make Stalin, well,
stand up and sit notice.
Yeah, you know, have a bit of a heart attack in his room.
Well, I'm sure if the boy to Stalin gets hit, somebody else will come help him out, right? That's how that
works.
Of
course.
Yeah.
Of course. Everyone loves Stalin.
Of course. Now, to the north, those T-34, the blue T-34s, they have found that town suspiciously hard to take, and those Airstadt have found out that it's better to fight being outside of the truck than in it. Regrettably, they've still have not been able to get out before getting blown up. But hey,
Yeah.
different strokes.
This is pretty deadly so far for Ort. He's losing by a +2 lead. He's gonna lose in 7 minutes if this keeps up, as Gonzo has a real good grip on the town.
I am mildly amused by the fact that airstrike could have been too late. Now, are we seeing? Yep, another. Okay, there we go. I was going to wonder if we were going to see some effective redeployment here, and site damaged is still enough to kill. He's still enough to kill. All right. We're a little bit further south. I think it's Niki kind of moving in slowly, but P-Grun's aggressing against superior PPSH's Tango Niki, kind of like kicking a puppy. Can't really fight back.
Yeah. Gonzo's infantry forces pretty damn scary. Those Scroky DPs, nothing to sneeze at. With all the semi-automatic rifles, they can really dish out quite a lot of damage. So, yeah, Orta's making some headway into the town now, thanks to the boy to Stalin giving fire support, but still, he has quite a few well, especially up north of T-34s. Down in the middle, there's only one on his side of the river, but a bunch on the other side.
Yeah, four with an easy shouting distance. Yeah, I think it's pretty safe.
Yeah.
But air cover. So we've seen a lot of air cover in the games this week.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about it in this particular game? Who's been using it well? Who's been using it a little bit less well?
As we see here, really, Ortiz, he's got 2 flak 88s on the hill. In a great spot, mind you. Of course, they're not in cover. But against C-3476s, you really don't need to be in cover. But that's going to give them good fire support over the majority of the town side. And also give them good anti-aircraft support when those bloody PE-3s come in trying to shot his Stalin.
I'm moderately intrigued by 122 mils being brought on in, as well as this 5-track Stromoviki push. He's got to know that Stalin is going to wreak bloody havoc on his lines. But I guess that's what this PEV is going for, so...
Yep, but the flat guns, they fire, and they fire very effectively. Yeah. Oh my god!
Despite shotgunning that thing in every zip code on the Eastern Front.
I was not expecting that, but that's a huge kill from Gonzo, because that's the only heavy tank he has to worry about.
Yes, sir.
That was pure luck. Holy crap, he should not have got that kill without accuracy.
No, but I think it's because he was throwing rounds in every single zip code that statistically he had to kill something. We have another one up here to the north freaking out and forcing back that latest T-34 push.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't help but feel that von Eidelstadt might have seen a lot of his hopes go up in smoke along with that boy to Stalin.
I think what would really help Ort is good old mortar half-tracks, because you got it at 20th Panzer, and on a town flank like this, mortar half-tracks can really do a lot of damage. He is actually bringing up a Rammern instead along the southern flank, so I think that's going to be his artillery hopes for the near future.
Certainly seems to be the case. Wait, Werframen? Where do you see the Werframen?
It's along the southern flank a bit. Like southern middle. Next to an Ostrooper, yeah.
I was like, for some reason, at first I thought you said something about it being in the north, and my mind was just completely and totally blank there.
It was like Res Rodo, but with German
exactly.
rocket artillery, which is much more interesting in a guy with a striped shirt. Well, arguably.
I wonder if this PE3 is going to... Oh no, the first farm's going to get a barrage off before this. It's going to be too late.
And going for a very good spot. That should deal quite a bit of damage to Sturmovikis. But Ort doesn't have much set up to counterpush.
No, and that's kind of the issue at this point, is that we're coming towards the end of B phase. And while we have these lovely sprint granatas coming on in, um, we don't really have a whole lot of boot granatas to kind of take care of that.
Yeah.
And yep, and the rocket comes back in and takes him out immediately. And that, I was honestly wasn't sure if that was going to be the point of that plane. Like, I saw him taking some fire, didn't know if that was going to be enough.
It's
It certainly was.
really coming down to the wire, or even if he pops this back down to a +1 disadvantage, it's still not going to be enough time, I think, to capture enough flags to bring it back to 50-50. Yo, he is starting to actually make some progress. Once we head into C phase, Gonzo is going to get the point advantage, or income advantage.
You know, I haven't seen many vehicles being brought on in besides these T-34s. At least from von Oststadt in quite a bit of time. Part of me is intrigued and part of me just feels bad.
Mm-hmm.
Not quite as bad as I feel for this 220 mil artillery vehicle that's just been hung out to dry. But hey, I guess that's what happens when you have expended all of your charges.
Yeah. We're now machine gun carrier now. Good luck. Sometimes it can draw fire because the opponent does think it has ammunition still.
Oh, it's entirely possible, but it still is one of those moments where you're like, it's kind of sad.
Yeah.
Now, Flak 88 was taking fire, though I'm not sure from what. Maybe the M30s, rather, excuse me. The Stroke DPs getting hit by artillery as they come across the river. This is a rough spot to be in. Oh, but not when the tanks aim for something else besides you.
And those PE3 strikes have really been on point from Gonzo. I mean, they haven't been getting a lot of kills apart from the shotgun on the boy to Stalin, but they've been suppressing Ort's tank force just enough to, keep him at bay.
Only problem with that is that, well, there's not a whole lot else to really caw about.
I feel like Ort really needs some more infantry in the middle. Because he had, tank forces and all that, yeah, but not anyone to go door to door and actually clear the town.
We are having ourselves a bridge too far moment, as these tanks are rushing into all this infantry and laughing very heartily, I would argue, at a lot of the AT that's being thrown their way.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, if you continue to to tease, it's eventually going to cause some issues, and I think that's exactly what happened here. The M30 blew it apart from behind. And we are coming down, looks like to the last 30 seconds here. So what made this different from other kind of matchups from this tournament? How does Tirania figure up so much differently against 20th Panzer, and what happened?
This is a very good map for Group Tirania. I mean, it's also a pretty good map for 20th Panzer, to be fair, but T-34-76 spam in close maps with good infantry support can be really scary. And Group Tirania is one of those very map-dependent maps. If you were to play us on Slutsk, for example, you're not going to have a good time. But here, lovely jubbly.
Now, I did want to say, kind of doff my hat for a moment to that Yak 9 who picked on those evil, biplanes.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of that, shockingly enough, there's really wasn't a ton of massive standout individuals here. A couple kills here and there with some groups, but wasn't a ton to speak of.
Yeah, nothing. It's a very spread out affair from both sides.
Which I guess is really surprising to me, because if you look at the KD, you almost expect it to be much more defined, shall we say?
Hmm.
But nope, that is not to be the case. Regardless, any final words of wisdom for our viewers out there, Rang?
I like how the Molotov cocktail was used by armies. I don't know if it was officially issued, but imagine if today you join the American military, it's okay, here's the M4, here's your body armor, here's a bottle of liquid and a lighter so you can throw it at stuff and set people on fire.
So
Enjoy.
I'm sure definitely gonna bring this up probably next week when we have another match. But you do know where the Molotov cocktail comes from, right?
And
Yes,
yeah,
indeed. A fantastic story for viewers for another time, I suppose. But folks, we hope you've enjoyed our coverage this week at the Metal Gen tournament. Next week we might bring some more in there, or I do also know we're going to get our first, I think, round of games, the SD2 League Season
this
2 might be dropping soon. I don't know for sure, so don't take me at my word on that one, please. Um, but thanks so much for the ride. Rang, any last thoughts?
nope.
Cool. Folks, until next time, I'm Con Ulrich.
I'm Rangaroo. Take it easy.